In this breakdown, we're going to see a few different angles of a proper baseball swing. Helping demonstrate the 4 phases of a swing is one of the players I coach, Corey Ogden. In this video, we're going to take an in-depth look at his stance, load, force production, and the follow-through of his swing. You can see here, Corey's getting into his stance. His head and eyes are facing towards the thrower. Corey's a right-handed hitter, so his hands are close together with his left hand holding the bat slightly above the knob, with his other hand just above that. His hands are slightly above his shoulders, around the height of his back ear, about a few inches away from his ear. Looking at his arms, you can see his back elbow is facing the opposite direction of the thrower, while his front elbow is comfortable. Positioning of the hands and arms is not overly important in this phase, as long as they're in good position to start the next phase. His core is square to the plate in a comfortable but upright position. His legs and feet are spaced shoulder length apart. He's on the balls of his feet. His feet are pointing towards the plate. His knees are slightly bent. His hips are square with his body, and he's approximately 6 inches away from the plate. The lower half is very important in the stance and throughout the swing. Setting up squarely gives him a strong center of gravity and puts his lower half in a good position to hit. You should be at a proper distance from the plate so you can be able to reach any pitch in the strike zone. And now we're ready for the load phase. In this phase, the head and eyes are still facing forward towards the pitcher, locking in on the baseball. By locking in on the ball, you are controlling your focus and allowing your hand-eye coordination to take over. Hands remain at the same height, but now the knob of the bat will be facing the catcher at about a 45-degree angle. This is going to create an elastic band effect that generates a lot of the power. The back elbow is still facing the opposite direction of the pitcher. The front elbow is facing slightly downward towards the plate. The back shoulder is in line with the back hip and foot. This is important in order to maintain balance as we're shifting our weight back. As everything else is moving back, it's important that the trunk also moves slightly back in a controlled manner towards the catcher. As the pitcher is about to release the ball, the front foot should lift slightly off the ground as your weight is shifting to your back side while you're still on the ball of your back foot. By shifting the weight on your back side, you are creating momentum and force production while still in a good balanced position. The front step is also involved in the timing of when to begin the next stage, the force production. In order for hand-eye coordination to work, you need to track the ball all the way in and watch it hit the bat. The hands are gripping the bat strongly. The bottom hand is moving towards the ball with the knob of the bat facing the ball. The front arm is pulling the bat towards the ball while the back elbow is pointing down and being guided by the front arm. As you're approaching impact, your wrist stays strong and do not break as you bring the bat flat to the ball with your top hand's palm facing straight up towards the sky and the bottom hand's palm down to the ground. By the contact point, the front arm should be fully extended. This process will allow your hands and arms to get into the proper position quickly. This bat path will also generate the most amount of contact and force on impact. The weight is now being shifted forward back to a central point. It is important that you do not overshift your weight in either direction because then you will be in an off-balance position and will lose power and form of the swing will suffer. The front leg lands straight and softly towards the pitcher on the release of the baseball. The hips begin to pivot towards the pitcher at the same time as the hands and arms start to move towards the ball. On this pivot, your heel should be completely off the ground, facing the catcher, while the toes are on the ground facing the pitcher. On the pivot, the back leg should be bent with the back knee facing the ground. The torque of the hips in combination with the arms and hands generates maximum force. The positioning of the body also allows for a strong, balanced base. At the end of the hip turn, your core is square to the pitcher. Now that he's made impact, Corey has to follow through with his swing. His head and eyes remain still at the spot contact was made. The hands keep a strong grip on the bat, and the arms continue through the path after contact. The hands finish near the front ear above the shoulder. The back elbow finishes by pointing towards the pitcher. This ensures that you maintain a strong swing through the zone in order to produce the most power. The core is still centered and square to the pitcher. This allows you to stay balanced as you're completing your swing properly. The hips, legs, and feet remain in the same position as they were at the end of the force production stage. This also allows you to keep your body in a stable position while finishing the follow-through.